Hi everyone, Andrew here. In this Simplified Speech episode, I'm joined by Kassy, and we talk about forgiveness. You can get the study guide for this episode on Culips.com and follow along as you listen. But before we get started, here are 3 listening comprehension questions for you. Keep your ears open for the answers while you listen to our conversation. I'll share the answers at the end of the episode after the closing music is finished. Okay, here are the questions. Number 1. Kassy tells us about her personality and temper. What kind of temper does she have? Number 2. Kassy says she doesn't really like to get revenge on people unless it's one person in particular. Who is this person? And number 3, I mention a film genre that I like. What genre is this? What kind of movies do I like? Okay, let's get started. I hope you enjoy this episode and learn a lot. Hello, everyone. My name is Andrew.
And I'm Kassy.
And you're listening to Culips. Today's episode is a simplified speech episode. This is the series where we have totally natural English conversations, but we speak a little bit slower than we do in our regular everyday lives. And we hope that by listening to our conversations, you can improve your English listening skills and become a fluent English listener. And today I am joined by my co-host, Kassy. Kassy, hello.
Hello.
Kassy, we finally got you a microphone and we're all set up to record here. So listeners, you can expect more content coming from Kassy here in the future now that we finally got her a microphone.
So exciting.
Yeah, exciting for us too. Kassy, our topic for today is actually a suggestion from one of our listeners who coincidentally is also named Andrew. So
what are the odds?
What are the odds? I love it. So he wrote us an email and I will share his message with everyone now. He says, "Hi Andrew, I'm Andrew from Hungary, a regular listener of your podcasts. Now I'm taking the opportunity to thank you for having helped me with my English a lot. I'd love to hear you speak about the topic of forgiveness. Is it easy for you to forgive others? Do you consider having a forgiving nature important? What kinds of impacts do you think it has on your life not to let go of anger? Can you forgive others without wanting to take revenge? Thanks for covering the topic and have a wonderful day." Okay, so a very interesting topic suggestion and also a very well-written email message. Andrew's English is very good. So thanks for that message, Andrew. And that's what we're going to talk about today, forgiveness. The best way to study with this episode is with the study guide, which you can download from our website, Culips.com. In the study guide, there is a transcript, detailed vocabulary explanations and examples, a quiz, and more. And there are 2 options for you to choose from, a PDF option or a mobile-friendly option, which is perfect for all of you who listen to Culips while commuting to and from work or school, on public transportation, or just for anybody who prefers to study on their phone. We put a lot of effort into making the study guides, and we really focus on teaching you the things that you won't find in textbooks or dictionaries. So just visit Culips.com to start studying with our study guides. Kassy, maybe we should start with a definition.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, what does forgiveness mean to you?
Forgiveness. It's a pretty deep topic.
Yeah, it's not an easy one. No.
Yeah. I guess forgiveness means to me overcoming your anger towards someone and letting it go, allowing yourself to overcome that anger and keep your relationship going with that person.
Yeah, I think the same thing. Like when somebody wrongs you in some way, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe somebody hurts you or cheats you or makes you upset or angry, then as a part of the healing process, it's good to forgive other people. But oftentimes this is actually difficult to do. It depends on the size of the wrongdoing, right? Of the crime that was committed.
Yes, definitely. Like somebody stealing my dessert is much different than, I don't know, somebody hitting my car or stealing my dog.
Yeah, stealing a dog would be tough to forgive.
So, Andrew, one of Andrew, our listener's questions was, do you find it easy to forgive others?
Yeah, that is a good question. To be honest, I do. I do find it quite easy to forgive other people. However, I also have to say that I don't have other people do bad things to me very often. So I don't have people that steal my dog or hit my car or break my heart, these kinds of things. That hasn't really happened to me in a long time. So yeah, I think that it is easy to forgive other people because usually when I get angry or upset at other people in my life because they've done something to me that made me upset or hurt my feelings or something, it was just over a small thing. And yeah, I'm not one to hold a grudge over something that's small. You know, we have the idiomatic expression, don't cry over spilt milk.
Oh,
right?
I love that phrase.
Don't cry over spilt milk means don't make a big deal over something that's not very serious. Yeah, so I think it's pretty easy for me to forgive others. What about you, Kassy?
Me, I'm pretty good at forgiving others too. However, I think forgiveness is kind of related to your temper in some ways. So I'm a little bit hot-headed with people I'm close to. So
Oh, really?
Yeah, a little. So I quickly get like fire red angry and then shout it out and then quickly try to ask forgiveness and say, sorry, I freaked out.
Okay, that's another interesting aspect is asking for forgiveness too.
Yeah.
That's definitely part of it. So maybe if you are the perpetrator, you are the person that does something bad, then you need to ask for forgiveness. Do you think it's important to forgive?
Definitely. I mean, holding that anger or sadness in your heart just kind of poisons your life, right? So even if it takes a little while, you feel so much lighter after you give forgiveness or accept someone else's forgiveness.
So it's a necessary part of the healing process. Come to think of it, you know, maybe I'm kind of a stereotypical guy because when I hang out with some of my guy friends, not all of them, but some of my guy friends are maybe emotionally stunted to an extent. They're not as open with their feelings. And, you know, some of my close friends are like this. And because of that, it means that we don't actually talk about our feelings very often. Sometimes we do, but, you know, some guys just sweep everything under the rug. And I feel like in these friendships, if one of us does something to upset the other one, then we usually just let time heal.
Time heals all wounds.
Yeah, like I might be angry or frustrated with my friend one day, but, you know, after a week, then we just forget about it and it's a kind of unspoken forgiveness.
Yeah, that's a little different from women. Earlier, you mentioned the phrase to hold a grudge.
Yeah.
Women tend to hold a grudge a lot longer than men do, stereotypically.
Yeah, well, there's lots of scenes in like comedy movies and stuff where some couple will be having an argument and the wife or the girlfriend will bring up some issue from like 5 years ago. And the guy will say like, can't you drop that already? That was 5 years ago. Do you have to hold this over my head? Right? Do you have to threaten me with this mistake that I made in the past, even though it was 5 years ago? I don't know if many people are like this in real life, but it's definitely a kind of stereotype that you see in comedies sometimes.
I think they're totally like that in real life.
Thankfully, I don't have a girlfriend like that, which is good. My girlfriend is very good at forgiving and moving on, thankfully. Okay, one of Andrew's other questions was, what kind of impact does not letting go of anger have on your life? So to make that a little bit more natural, because that question is like 99% perfect, but 1% awkward, I think we could say just, what impact does not letting go of anger have on your life? That's something that's hard for me to know, because I'm not really an angry person, because like I said, I don't really hold grudges like this or have any situations, thankfully, that have caused me to be really, really angry. I could imagine though, if somebody did steal your dog or cheat on you or, hurt somebody that you were close to, if you had a child or something, well, then you could be really, really angry. And I can only project here and predict, but I imagine that it would really take up a lot of your thinking time. You'd probably ruminate and think about that thing over and over again.
Yeah, I have a friend who, had a lot of things happen in her past, but she deals with a lot of anxiety or sleepless nights because of this anger that she feels from fights that haven't had
closure.
Yeah, that haven't had closure.
Another thing that comes to mind is forgiveness on a societal level. So we're talking about personal relationships and forgiving, people on a one-to-one basis. But there's also this kind of forgiveness that exists in society with like criminals, right? Mm-hmm. And if somebody commits a crime, especially a really brutal crime, then we often want to punish that person. And every society and every culture and country has different rules and laws about how they punish people and how they forgive people. Some countries may execute people for certain crimes, and other countries have relatively light sentences, right? Sometimes we say a slap on the wrist.
Yes.
And so you can also think about forgiveness on this level too, right? Mm-hmm. Would you say your country, the USA, America, is it a forgiving country overall? I know that's a difficult question to answer.
I think it depends on the state. It's a giant country, right?
Yeah.
Depends on the state, and it depends on the severity of the crime. But I think overall, the U.S. tries to give people second chances. If they make a mistake, do their time, and then try to move on with their life.
Right. Yeah, there's lots of idioms coming up in this episode. The other one is do the crime, pay the time, right?
Yep.
So if you commit a crime, then you have to spend some time in jail. But then after, if you are really reformed, then society forgives you and you can start your life again. I think Canada is the same way. I think in general, perhaps our justice system is more forgiving than the citizens would like. So a lot of times I read in the newspaper about people that think sentences or punishments are too light. Somebody can do something terrible, but then not spend that much time in jail. But I have to trust that our lawyers and our judges are more educated about this topic than just the regular Joe Blow citizen who's commenting on a news website.
Yeah, those people on the internet, they all have an opinion, don't they?
They all have an opinion. All right, Kassy, maybe we will wrap it up in just a moment, but let's talk about one last question here. And that is, can you forgive other people without wanting to take revenge? Do you like revenge? Are you vengeful, or can you just let it go?
I think that also depends on the crime or who it is. If it's my sister, like someone you're close to, it's really hard not to try to get that revenge on them. Or your mortal enemy.
Your mortal enemy.
School bully, something like that.
Right. But
it's easier said than done, right? To forgive others without trying to get revenge.
Yeah. Yeah, revenge is sweet. I like watching revenge films. Movies that, show a character taking revenge are very satisfying to me to watch. So I guess I do like revenge, but to be honest, I don't think it carries into my real life. So far, I haven't had any situations that are worthy of ruining my life or my reputation or my livelihood to take revenge on somebody else. And I got to cross my fingers that actually never comes true, and that and that my life continues to be drama free.
Yeah, I think that's a good point, actually, with this topic. People who, just try to live their life with positivity and treating others the way that you want to be treated and letting things go, it'll lead to a happier and more peaceful life.
Indeed. Well, everyone, thank you for listening into this conversation today. We hope you learned a lot. There was a lot of great idiomatic expressions that we used. And although this was a difficult topic, I think it was really interesting to talk about it here with you today, Kassy.
Yeah, me too.
Guys, if you would like to add to the conversation, if you would like to share your opinion with us, you can do that by leaving a comment on one of our social media sites. We're on Instagram and Facebook and YouTube and Twitter, or you could send us a message to our email address, which is contact@culips.com. Of course, if you have a topic that you would like to suggest and have us talk about here on Culips, you can do that just like Andrew did. And again, just send it to our email address, contact@culips.com, and we'd be happy to try and make that suggestion become a reality. And finally, our website, let's plug it. It is Culips.com. It's the place where you can sign up to become a Culips member and study with our study guides. And it's also the place where you can listen to all of our past episodes. We've got hundreds of them on there, so please take a couple moments, check out our website. And that's it for us for now. We'll be back soon with another brand new Culips episode, and we'll talk to you then. Goodbye.
See you next time.
Here are the answers to the listening comprehension questions. Kassy tells us that she is a little bit of a hothead. So this means that she quickly gets angry. Number 2, Kassy says that it's hard not to want to get revenge on her sister. So when her sister does something that makes her angry, she tends to want to get revenge. And number 3, the movie genre that I like is revenge films. I enjoy watching films that deal with the theme of revenge.